In Australia, we've got deadly animals aplenty. We've got funnel web spiders who'll murder you and your family. Under every second rock is a redback spider, and they'll kill you just because, I don't know, they're bored or whatever. We've got invisible brown snakes who'll bite you on the foot, and you'll be dead in 7 minutes. Just like that, kaput. We've got the world's deadliest creatures all over the place. We've got magpies who'll steal the eyeballs from your face. But at least we don't have AR-15s. We've got great white sharks who'll ascend from the deep and rip you in half with their razor-sharp teeth. We've got saltwater crocs who'll death roll you to death, and sea snakes who'll gladly snatch your last breath. We've got a blue-ringed octopus, no bigger than this, that just sits around in rock pools waiting to kill kids. And even the platypus, a cute beaver duck thing, has got a spur on its ankle that'll kill you in one sting. But at least we don't have AR-15s. And at least they can't end up in the hands of psychopathic teens. We've got stonefish and stingrays and sea urchins and shit, and hectic fucking homicidal box jellyfish. And these jellyfish, they aren't even sentient beings. They don't even really do stuff or know about things. They just float around on the whim of the currents, being pointless, non-cognitive, murderous cunts. And if that weren't enough in terms of natural hazards, here in Australia, the sun causes cancer. But at least we don't have AR-15s. And at least they can't end up in the hands of suicidal teens. And at least we don't have an NRA who pay millions of dollars every day buying off politicians not to change old laws. We've got bull sharks, cone shells, saltwater crocodiles, honeybees, European wasps and blue-ringed octopies, death adders, blue bottles, redback spiders, tiger sharks, tiger snakes and lizards that'll bite ya. We got sea snakes, taipans, cassowaries, copperheads, all the creatures of the land and sky and sea that want you dead. Toadfish, stonefish, irukandji jellyfish, bull ants, centipedes and ticks that cause paralysis. But we don't have AR-15s. And thank fuck they can't end up in the hands of psychopathic suicidal teens. And thank fuck we don't have an NRA who pay millions of dollars every day buying off politicians not to change some law. A law that was written 200 years ago, in a time when it took 3 minutes to reload a single round of ammunition. We knew nothing about depression, and you couldn't fire 45 rounds in 60 seconds. And there wasn't even such a thing as automatic weapons. And there weren't 31 mass shootings monthly. But what would I know, 'cause I'm from another country.
Hey now. Hey, it's Casper here from Brizzy. So that's my intro that I put together. It's not too bad. It's kind of funny. I hadn't listened to the words carefully. Yeah, that was pretty funny. So yeah, I thought I'd jump on. There's some other stuff going on, but I did say I would come on, so I thought I'd jump on. I've been wanting to do something on here about the Australian bushfires, and it's very, very tragic what's been going on in this country of mine. You know, the bushfires have been around for a long, long time. since obviously the Aborigines. And in fact, that little bit of research shows that I don't know, it's debatable, but they say that the Aborigines used to burn back because they knew about the dangers of what could happen if you allow a buildup of trees and all the leaves and stuff and everything that builds up. And but then others say that Aborigines didn't do that. That they did burning for different reasons. So I'm not really sure there, but it's something interesting. And it's not just like it's one particular area or state or territory. It's just everywhere, absolutely everywhere, and it's just like devastating. It's, trust me, if you guys were here, like just the power of the fire is just fucking absolutely phenomenal. And I've been doing a little bit of research about I know about fire, but let me just, I've got some images of what's been going on around the country. I've got a few videos and stuff as well, but let me just put this one up that I got off recently. Probably have to make it bigger, eh? So you can see there, I live here, and there's been fires around Brizzy and in Queensland, but not very big ones. But this is where they've all been rather than where they are now. And there's some really, really bad ones at the moment down the south coast, below Sydney, between Sydney and Melbourne, basically, Sydney and Canberra. I have family that live at a place called Narooma, and which is near another place called Basement Bay, and the fires are really, really bad down there. Well, they were really bad at Basement Bay, but Narooma apparently has escaped. So I haven't heard back from them today, because day before yesterday, it seemed that everyone was just going to lose their houses and that. Although my stepdad rents, he's a carer for his mother, and he's renting, so I guess that's not their house that they would lose, and they have contents insurance to like 35k or something. But I have an auntie down there, and she owns her house, and she's got 2 kids, so that's pretty scary. So, but yeah, that's just like where the fires have been. And isn't it funny how in the middle here, where it's all just desert and shit, there's not much going on there, and there's not a lot of trees here. All the mining, it's all desert, sand, stuff in the middle here. And it's very, I mean, there's lots of trees and stuff through here, but through the Northern Territory and stuff. But Perth's been pretty bad. Look up here. And also, it doesn't really show here, but there's been some bad fires in South Australia as well, from what I hear. So this picture's, I don't know how up to date this picture is, but I thought it was just enough to show you guys. And people, there's other pictures that just make it look even worse. They make it look like Australia's just like totally on fire, which is not really completely accurate. But I've got some other pictures and a few little videos that I wanted to put on there. Hey, welcome, Bellad, welcome, Fancy. I'm doing my stream slightly different this time, so I'm using the chat in the studio to read, and I haven't really got the other tab open. Well, I do, but it's on a different screen, because it's easy to share screen and then just use the left screen for everything that I want to do. So I'm doing slightly different, so I'm hoping I don't fuck it up. I've got an interesting picture here that it looks much better on my screen than when I originally tried to share it, but it's fucking scary but I'll put it on the screen here. And have a go at something like this. How would you like to be living like there, and this is what you're looking at? It's incredible. And I tell you, fire, I mean, I considered at one stage whether I wanted to be a fireman, because it is a pretty like it is a pretty cool profession, but fucking dangerous. Probably in Australia, probably one of the most dangerous jobs, I would say. But the power of fire, Mother Nature, power, fire, water, fuck, unbelievable. Have you seen? When floods and that, you can't stop the power of um, you can't stop the power of fire and water. Fucking awesome, but deadly. So that was, I thought, a very move-wrecking sort of fucking picture. I've got a picture here. There's something about fire. I don't know if you got. I mean, there's fires around the world, right? But have you ever seen like a sort of mini cyclone within the fire, because it's the wind that causes the devastation and how it spreads so fast it can just like burn you up in 2 seconds. I'll show you this picture, which is fucking scary. See this like mini cyclone that's like in the fire. Look at that, man. Could you imagine the intensity in there? It's just incredible. And a lady, I was watching ABC News this morning, and there was this lady they interviewed, right? And she described it. She described it as she said, "Oh, we were told that the fires might come, but they weren't, too bad." And then the wind shifted, right? So this lady said she got her stuff out and loaded up the car, and they basically all head towards the beach or lakes or something like that, where you can just jump in the friggin' water if you really have to. I even saw pictures of people parking their cars like in the water and stuff, on boats and like horses, taking them into the water and stuff like that. And anyway, they interviewed this lady, right? And she said to me, as on her way out, she said that the fire came so quickly, like within 1 minute, and it was just like a small fireball just shot up the back of her property underneath her balcony, and just basically within 10 seconds blew her roof off. And she had a tin roof. And I just thought, how does that happen? Like, it's like a fucking missile. So, scary, man. Scary. And then one guy, they interviewed another guy who basically stayed home to fight the fire. And it got so intense and he got so overwhelmed that all he could do was grab a bucket, and he jumped in his pool and he put the bucket over his head otherwise he said his head would have just burned up. Even the fire over the pool, coming through over the pool, would have just singed his head, I mean, obviously he could have, gone under with a friggin' snorkel or something like that, but he showed the bucket, and like he had this like plastic bucket that you just grab to wash your car with, and it was like melted, like not completely melted, but you could see that it had been burned. And if he wasn't for the pool, he would have been gone. And the thing is, sometimes these fires come, if they burn with no wind, then they just really burn everything. But if they burn through, like with the wind blowing, it can come through and go just like straight through in like 10, 20 seconds, and it's just gone straight through, and it just starts to, like, whatever can easily catch fire will catch fire. And sometimes if you're there and you can get through that part, and it goes straight through, you can distinguish the fires without losing too much. I've seen some really bad ones, examples of that. So I'll play a video. They're all short ones, but this aerial footage was in Victoria, which on the map is below Sydney, next state down from New South Wales, and it was interesting. So it's like a ridge line there on top of the ridge. It's like volcanic friggin' eruption, isn't it? So much fuel. That's in Victoria. Look at that. How would you like to have, like, well, where do you start? And the firefighters, they have to take a stand somewhere. And this is in like 2 states below me. Yeah, so that was that one. And this one is going to explain it really well for you guys that are in the States, because it does a lot of comparison with you guys. Let me see if I can get this one going.
I want to talk about the Australian bushfires here for a second, because if you've been watching the news over the last week or so, you've probably seen the images. You've seen the really heartbreaking images of people fleeing their homes, firefighters battling these flames, the things that we kind of see here. But you know, it's different because it's in Australia. So you might see koalas versus, say, mountain lions that we would have here. So there's a different area, but the scene that's unfolding is a huge fire outbreak that is now far outpacing almost anything we've ever seen across the planet. And let me explain what's going on here. Very extreme hot, dry weather has set up for the last couple of weeks, and it's an offshore pattern, just like we have here in California. So it's fire conditions, and it's really early to see something like this. But now it's a whole new level. What we have here is essentially an unbroken line of thick, dense, hazardous smoke that goes for about 350 miles. And then upstream from that are dozens and dozens and dozens of bushfires, which we would call wildfires, that are fueling all the hazardous smoke flowing into this area. So this scale is really hard to imagine, to understand, but this would be like an unbroken line of hazardous smoke, and then behind that, just endless wildfires from Boston to Delaware. That would dominate national news for weeks in America, because most of news media is based on the East Coast, so it really matters there. But let's put it closer to us. What would that be like? That would be like if we had dozens and dozens and dozens of wildfires burning from essentially the very bottom of the Sierra near Lake Isabella, almost clear up to about Chico. Unbroken wall of flames that's fanning smoke and haze all the way to the coast for 350 miles. So you'd see the same situation from essentially Fort Bragg all the way down to Southern California. That scale is difficult to imagine, but that's what we're looking at. And what's very difficult about this situation is that this was predicted. This is something that has been in the works for a long time. Let's go back to 2013. Australia was getting so hot, so often, at such unprecedented levels for their climate record that they had to add a brand new color contour on their map, exceeding anything for widespread areas that they've ever seen before. They did this back in 2013, and with the highlight of this, that they were expecting it is a sign of things to come. Well, not only do they routinely hit this purple color now, they are actually exceeding that. And there may be a new color contour that they're going to have to add to the map. Now, remember, Australia is almost uniformly a hot, dry place anyway. And even for them, they're having a very difficult time with what's going on. Just recently, before Christmas, they hit a new average maximum high temperature record of 107 degrees, average for the entire country. And what the problem with that is that they have very few places climate-wise that are forested, that are just different from the rest of the country. And that's exactly what is on fire. It's going to take a long time for that to come back. The question that we have for ourselves are scenes like we're seeing at the beaches of Australia with everybody flooding to the coast, because that's the last place that the fire is going to go before it hits the ocean there. Are scenes like this going to play out in California and other spots around the world in the future? Unfortunately, climate and weather saying yes.
Well, that's your newsprinter. I don't know if he's gay or not, but anyway. Yeah, so that was just a little comparison. So, but it's really, really scary. Like, how these fires are just it's just not in one spot. It's just like, and the cause of the fires is incredible. Like it can be. Can you believe there's these little fucks that are starting fires as well? You have lightning starting fires. All sorts of things can start fires. But yeah, can you believe some people have even been busted catching fire? Oh no, I got a Casper's girl now. Oh my god. So have a look at this. You'll like this little picture here. I mean, you might think like koalas are nice, cuddly little things, but they will claw your face off given half a chance. But sometimes these animals are so distressed that they're drinking water straight out of the firefighter's hands, which is pretty cool. But we've had tens of thousands of wild animals perished already, and that's not good. I don't know. Do you guys think it's like mother's nature's way of culling things down? Maybe I've often wondered like that. I don't know if I'm looking into it too much, but I've got some other images here. I mean, you think about like if you've got like an old homestead or something and it's right in the bush there, and you got it insured and all that. Like, I don't know. I'm just looking at the other side of things. Where is it to your advantage? The house burns down. Like, would you be like, oh yeah, if the fire comes through, bang, rebuild, brand new? I don't know. Maybe I'm not looking at it very nicely, but I have another picture here of a place that was burnt down. You can see it there. Yeah, and like, I don't know. You see a lot of tin because tin's used. Oh my god. Sorry, I'm trying not to laugh. A lot of tin is used for roofs and that, and when you look at the remains, you think, oh my god, it's a shack. But I mean, I don't think it looked that bad. But like, for instance, I have I don't know, 10-15-year-old house, and I have a tin roof, but it's rest of it's brick, like this, I suppose. Yeah, it's not very nice. And I don't think really people are that worried about, say, losing your houses, all your possessions, all your photos, all the things that can't be replaced. And cars, I've seen so many cars, and people's $60,000 tractors going up in smoke and in the shed. I mean, you don't have time to clear any of that stuff out. The fires come through so quick. So, what else have I got here? It's actually quite sort of hot today. I'm just like, we don't have any smoke. I'm up in Brisbane, and there's no smoke in Brisbane at the moment. There's no great fires going on here that I know of. But there was a point in time where it got a bit smoky up this way. So there, I mean, wouldn't you, like, if you had this lovely property, and the mountains on fire like that, you'd be a bit worried. I mean, look, there's not even like a lot of trees here, but it's still just working its way through the dry land. Easy to put out when there's not trees. The trees are worried because the flames jump from tree to tree, like just fireballs and ambers. And I saw firefighters fighting, right? And all these ambers were going over them, and even though they wear very, very good protective gear, it was like melting and holes in their firefighting equipment, which is just terrible. You're really, really earning your money when you have to go to a fire. Gotta keep remembering the order of doing this. So yeah, it's not good. It's really, really not good. Oh, this is a terrible photo. Yeah, didn't look like a match. So imagine like when there's nothing you can do but watch your house just go up in flames. I mean, we all have to live somewhere. Not nice. And I mean, I'm assuming this is a tin roof and it's just like melting, like tin's melting. A lot of trees around there though. So that's the price you pay if you live remotely in with bush around you. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not very far from a lot of bush. Out the back, there's a main road out the back, and there's houses on the other side. But then the road basically just goes into like what you would call semi-rural sort of shit. And oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, you better be careful, guys. You better be careful because let me jump back into here. Oh, Rostock got timed out by Fancy. Yeah. Sorry, Fancy. I should have told you that these are all the RDA guys. They're all cool. No problem. So yeah, they're just being funny. That's cool. I have a sense of humor. So, yeah. So that's pretty scary, eh? We've got like five, like I don't know. I think America have these like awesome these helicopters or whatever, that firefighting helicopters, and I think that I don't know whether we leased them or something or whether we brought our own, but apparently they're just using every possible means of fighting these fires. But the thing is, apparently we just don't have enough equipment to go around. So I don't know how they're coordinating where all the firefighting things are gone. So there's been absolutely fucking thousands of koalas that have been fucking burned up. And here in Australia, like I see it on Facebook, and they're like they've raised like so much money, and they've opened up like little hospitals and stuff, and they're treating all the burned up animals and stuff like that. And some of them have had to, like a lot of them obviously are so badly burnt because I think the koala's natural instinct is just to go back up to the tree. They don't run like the kangaroos. They run. They just go. They know, and they just keep going. They seem to have like a natural instinct. But from what I understand, the koalas and stuff, they just climb up further up the tree thinking they're going to get away, right? Well, they're not going to get away. The worst spot in the world obviously is probably up the top of the tree. So they basically just get burned up alive. They don't even, like, from what I can work out, they don't even run for cover. So, and they don't really move that fast either. So it's not good. I've decided not to put the real sort of gory pics up where they're just fucking burned up and shit because it's too fucking horrible to see. So, but anyway, what else have I got here? I don't know if any of you have ever been to Sydney. So you might have saw some of my pictures in the intro of the lovely Sydney Harbour and the Harbour Bridge. And well, this is Sydney like a couple of days ago. It fucking looks like Hong Kong. It's just terrible. I mean, that's what you expect over in China, but obviously being smog. Whereas now Sydney is just like covered in fucking smoke. And they say that the smoke is really, really, like, obviously really, really bad to breathe in for long periods of time. I don't know what people are doing, whether they're wearing masks or whatever. Not really sure. Not good. What else have I got here? Fire 2. So yeah. All right. So this one's a pretty good photo actually. This one where you can see the fire coming up, obviously to the main road, and look how powerful. I mean, I can just tell how powerful this is And look at this firefighter. It's just, could you imagine the heat? I mean, it's just gonna like fucking melt that guardrail. Hey, girls in the chat. That Casper's girl has got to be cosmic, I reckon. That'd just be my guess. But I've been stirring him for nights with all the girls coming in, chasing him in Lemonade stream, so I have to accept that. Anyway, yeah, so it's not good, guys. It's really not good. Let's see what else I have here. I did a little, like I said, I only got the pictures. I've shown that picture. I didn't want to like totally gross everybody out with some of the really, really bad pictures and stories that I've seen, but it is what it is. It is reality. And this is another thing about fires. I'll show you a picture here. Fires act very, very strangely, right? They can go through a neighborhood and just burn out like certain houses and other houses untouched. It's just the luck of the draw. Take this picture, for instance, right? Now you see here, this house was a brick house. I don't know about the roof. It was a brick house, timber and brick, whatever. Totally fucking pretty much gone, right? Although some of the palings still standing up. And then it looks like across the road here, this house is fine. And I've seen that. I've seen that in other pictures where it's just like you look from above and it's just various houses are gone and other houses are not gone, and it's just the luck. It's the way the fire goes. Let me just go back to here for a sec. I have one more video that I wanted to show. Or did I play? Oh, I had three. I think it was this one that I haven't played.
As we go to air, there are now 6 fires burning at emergency level across New South Wales. We have a live map from the RFS here. Those fires are the Greenwaddle Creek blaze, which is burning just southwest of Sydney. This is currently impacting areas around Mittagong. Then on the south coast, the Clyde...
I used to live, so here's Sydney here, right? Or the main city. I think I lived about here somewhere in Sydney until I moved up to Queensland.
Mountain fire down near Bateman's Bay. That has forced thousands of residents and tourists to flee as it burns towards Maruya, which is further south. In Bateman's Bay itself, power is out and residents there have been told to seek shelter. Then we go into the Snowy Mountains. There is a blaze burning just to the east of Cooma. That is in the areas of Peak View, New Morella and Cantegany. Residents have been told it is too late to leave and they should shelter in place. Then to the west of Cooma, over here.
I think if you're going to stay at your house during a fire or you get stuck in your house, we don't really have basements like other countries. There's no, say, if something came through to me, I wouldn't know where to hide. I wouldn't, maybe in the garden shed, maybe.
Here, there is the Doubtful Gap Trail fire. It is burning to the west of Yucumbean Cove, Braemar Bay and surrounding areas. That fire, we are told, is spreading very quickly. If you are in the path of that fire, you are at risk. There is a 5th emergency warning in place in the Snowy Valley. That is for this fire, which is burning southeast of Wagga Wagga. That fire is burning in the Westbrook Road, Ellerslie, Tarcutta area. It is currently out of control and is impacting the town here of Batlow. Residents there, of course, were told to leave days ago. If you are in the Batlow or surrounding areas, it is now too late to leave and you should seek shelter. Just a few moments ago, a 6th emergency fire made the list. That is this one, which is burning very close to the Victorian border to the east of Albury. It is a new fire. We are waiting for some more information.
Excuse me, the national parks, man, don't they just go up?
On that fire,
there's laws that they don't backburn. It's political. They don't backburn or something in in protected areas or something, and this is what happens.
And we will bring it to you as soon as we get it. But that is the current state of play across New South Wales. We're going to go now straight to Vicky Jardim, who is at the Rural Fire Service headquarters for us. Vicky, this situation is escalating very quickly.
It certainly is, Jane. Good afternoon. Just in the past hour, the pace here has significantly picked up. As you can see behind me, there are a lot of people here at the RFS headquarters monitoring the fire situation this afternoon. There are representatives from the fire authorities, from the government, from the army and many other agencies. As you just mentioned,
yeah, what a lot of people are doing, I'm not sure if you were here before, Susan, was that a lot of people are just going to the beaches or heading towards the coast. I mean, but if you're inland in some of these ones, I mean, where do you go? It's hundreds of kilometers to get to the beach or to the water.
there are 6 fires burning at emergency level. Now, this is changing rapidly. This is changing by the minute. As you just mentioned, just before you crossed to me, one fire popped up to the emergency level. There are now 11 fires burning at the watch and act level. Now, residents in these areas, at the emergency areas, are being told it's too late to leave. They need to seek shelter straight away. Now, these fires have been fanned by strong northwesterly winds and very high temperatures. In these fire areas, these temperatures have risen to the low to...
That size forklift is basically one, almost looks the same as the one I drive sometimes at work.
mid-40s, so it is extremely hot out here. Now, just before you cross to me, Jane, Fire and Rescue New South Wales told me that one of the big areas of concern is 000 calls. People are frantically calling 000, but they are unable to say their exact locations. So if you can't say where you are, then of course they can't find you. They can't tell you where to go, where is safe. Now, just to put into perspective, they're expecting around 4,000 calls on a normal day. They receive 500. So the situation is changing quite dramatically. The fires are now picking up. The temperatures are increasing. So it is a very serious situation out there, Jane.
Vicky Jardim there with the very latest from the Rural Fire Service headquarters. Now let's go to Jonathan Kearsley. He's in Batemans Bay. You'll remember that is where this emergency level fire is burning. Jono, thanks for joining us. Things have just taken a turn for the worse there.
Yeah, that's right, Jane. Within the last few moments or so, the fire you can see behind me has flared to an emergency level. It is too late to leave for the residents of South Duras, for Surfside, for Long Beach, also for Maloney's Beach as well. This is a fire that has been flaring.
You don't know when the fires, when you're told that you can't leave because, your avenue of escape has been, blocked off or it's on fire. Some of these people have just quite simply been trapped, and the horrible side of it is that they just get burned alive. You can't outrun a fire.
In the Clyde Mountain area, it has shut the Kings Highway for a number of weeks. Just about an hour or so ago, it jumped the Kings Highway. That is what authorities here were concerned about. They were concerned that the north side of the Clyde River and these areas that you can see here, that is Surfside there. Then we have Long Beach a little further along the coast and Maloney's Beach as well. It is one road in and one road out of those areas. We were down there earlier today. There's 400 or 500 properties in that area. Remarkably, there were many people who were deciding that they wanted to stay put and try and fight this fire if it was to be on their doorstep. Remarkable conditions, given that so much bushland is around them, and this is the emergency that we are seeing at the moment. There were helicopters flying over before. You can still see that black smoke pushing east. That is a sign that the wind is taking it to the easterly direction. It is taking it towards Long Beach. It is taking it towards Maloney's Beach as well. Those residents told us earlier today they'd be getting to the water as quickly as they can. We're already seeing some cars pull up here on the foreshore. Traffic coming over from the south side, from the north side of the river into the south side has been very busy over the past little while or so. I have been informed, though, that there is actually a road closure in place by police over at Long Beach, heading back in towards Batemans Bay. Obviously, authorities very concerned about the conditions in those parts of the area. As I said earlier, the emergency warning in place for South Duras, for Long Beach, for Maloney's Beach, for Surfside as as well. It is too late to leave. Residents are being told that they must seek shelter now, Jane.
Right, Jonathan Kearsley there with the very latest from Bateman's Bay. Thank you. I want to take you back to this Greenwater Creek blaze, which is burning near Mittagong. We have some pictures that have just come into the newsroom from Bowral. There you can see those thick clouds of smoke coming from that huge blaze, which has been burning in bushland and has just, in the last hour or so, been raised.
So the smoke apparently, I had a picture, but I'm not sure. It didn't really, it doesn't look that great, but all the smoke is now seen from space and is stretched as far across as to South America.
Raised to an emergency level that has potential to impact the areas around Mittagong. So residents there really should check the latest advice warnings on the Rural Fire Service Fires Near Me app just to see whether they are safe to stay there or not. But those are pictures that have come from water-bombing aircraft have now been ordered. All Defence Force bases will be open as temporary evacuation centres from Brisbane to Melbourne. Here's the PM a short time ago.
That's a big distance.
The priority of this deployment is to assist ensuring the safety of life, to support the evacuation of affected people, particularly in isolated communities, and provide assistance to isolated communities and support state-managed evacuation centres. It is to move in and to move forward, particularly in areas that have been devastated by fire.
Well, there is the Prime Minister. We know he's been under pressure in this emergency to take a more national approach to things, and that is what he's tried to do in that most recent press conference, outlining all the latest Australian Defence Force measures that will be made available to help tackle this bushfire crisis. Here we have the latest map and the latest advice from the Rural Fire Service. You can see the areas in black are the areas that have already burned, as these fires have been burning for quite a while now. The red are the fires that are in emergency level. We have this Greenwater Creek blaze. That is the one that is burning southwest of Sydney. It's currently the Southern Highlands area that is most at risk, particularly around Mittagong. And we were seeing those pictures just moments ago from the town of Bowral of all the smoke that is in that area. Then we have the blaze burning.
So the fire that's around Mittagong was is very close to where I used to go down and have like an annual golf day down there. It was really, really nice country. But I can see that that's probably like an hour away from Sydney. So I can see why Sydney's getting so much smoke.
Down near Bateman's Bay. We saw our reporter John O'Kersley talking about the road closures in that area. It is pretty much impossible for people to get out of these towns now. They need to shelter where they are and shelter in place. And then we have the blazes that are burning more to our southwest in the Snowy Mountains. There's a blaze to the east of Cooma and to the west of Cooma, and then this one, southwest of Wagga Wagga, which is very close to impacting the town of Batlow. We, of course, also have an emergency situation in the state of Victoria. Our reporter Sam CUCCHIARA is in Mallacoota for us now. Sam, what's happening there?
Just respecting the chat. Susan, there's like heaps and heaps of places and that you can like donate to and stuff, and a lot of I was reading today that a lot of celebs, even American celebs, have like donated. I think it was Pink has donated like $500,000 or something like that, and I don't know if you guys realize that all the voluntary firefighters don't get paid. I don't understand why, and it's one of the reasons why I didn't sign up for a volunteer service, because sometimes you're taken away for weeks at a time, and I keep hearing stories where some employers will pay their guys, like it just comes down to that individual company, but a lot of companies simply do not. They might give you the time, give you the time away, but they don't pay you. And I don't know, like you in this day and age, who can afford to not be paid for like weeks on end? So yeah, I thought that was really, really bad, and I really thought like there's been a lot of talk about demanding that volunteer firefighters are paid, even if for me, even if they're just paid what their normal wage would be, it can easily be set up because you just put your time in. You just put your time in at work, and then work should pay you, and work should claim it back off the government. I mean, that's how it should work. Because otherwise, you'll be like me and like say, well, hang on, I want to help, but I can't afford like to not pay my house or whatever for like weeks at a time. So unfortunately, like couldn't do it under those circumstances. But the normal fireys get paid, and I believe that it's quite good. But believe it or not, there is a lot of downtime. But I'll tell you, when they're called to work, they really work hard and put their lives.
Things were seemingly okay here just a few minutes ago, and within those few minutes the sky has turned absolutely orange and then it's gone black. I'm not sure if you can actually see because it is so dark here at the moment. It doesn't look like day at all, it looks like night. We are at the relief centre in the middle of town at the moment. I've just been inside there, and one of the main concerns at the moment is that hundreds of people are still trapped here in Malakuta who couldn't take those Navy ships back to Melbourne. They are, of course, vulnerable people, elderly people, many families with young children, including babies, and they're absolutely hysterical in there at the moment.
Could you imagine if you had like asthma or something? Geez.
So many babies are crying. These people have just been out to the airport. They've tried to chopper them out again on those military choppers, but those aircraft have been grounded because of this, the thick smoke in the area and the incredibly low visibility. I've got one of these parents who's trapped here at the moment. This man's from Germany, and his 1-year-old son is here and 2 other children. Tell us what you make of what's happening here at the moment.
Well, I mean, as said, we tried to get out. Unfortunately, the airplanes were grounded, as you already said. And, clearly, people are not that happy. And
it's got a healthy Australian accent. Not.
They're kind of like scared. But I think at the same time, given that we have all been through Tuesday, we feel safe.
Is that ink? That sounds like ink to me.
With what the community is doing, the firefighters are doing. So hopefully this has an end quite soon.
And how are the children holding up? You've got 3 children in there at the moment?
Well, the children are luckily playing around, so I think they don't really notice what's going on yet.
Yeah, as far as those masks go, Bella, a lot of I see down on the Gold Coast, right? The Gold Coast is about an hour and hour 20 minutes drive from me, and you're on the Gold Coast, and you see a lot of Asian tourists down there. And at least probably 1 in every 3 will wear a small mask, even though there's no smoke, there's no, it's beautiful. To me, it's an absolutely gorgeous, beautiful day, and you just see all these Asians wearing masks because that's just what they're used to.
But all that is also thanks to the help of the Red Cross to kind of keep people calm and keep things under control. So I think that's super important.
And do you have any idea? Have authorities said anything about when you might expect to be able to go home?
Well, I mean, we all expected to go kind of like a couple of minutes ago when planes were grounded. So I think not today anymore. That's most likely. Maybe tomorrow, maybe a day after. Not yet clear.
Is this your first time in Australia, or?
First time in Australia, yes.
Wow.
So experience, I would call that.
Thank you very much for your time and best of luck with
getting
home.
Thanks a lot. Crossing fingers.
So there you have it, incredibly eerie scenes in Malakuta at the moment. I'm told lots of people are at the beach at the moment. Of course, Jane, that's where they were the other day when those fires tore through. We will keep you up to date throughout the afternoon right here on 9 News.
Sam, we're just looking at that live shot of you there right now. It is 2:30 in the afternoon and the sky looks black. It is dark. Can you just... I mean, you're wearing a face mask there. It's obviously extremely smoky. But can you just talk us through what the atmosphere is like? Because you mentioned there's families, there's children. And how are people coping with what they're seeing all around them?
It's extremely eerie here at the moment. Just the cries of all these babies inside is quite upsetting. I walked in there before and lots of young families I was speaking to, they're on the floor, they haven't had much sleep, still no power here in town, in a lot of places no hot water. So you can only imagine, how hard it is for them over these past few days. I mean, and obviously this has just turned like this in a matter of minutes. it was a little bit yellow, the sky, a few hours ago. Then it's turned orange. And then in a matter of minutes while we were waiting to come on air, it's gone completely black. And as you say, right now, it looks like it's the middle of the night, but it is the middle of the afternoon. A lot of these people, of course, were here on New Year's Eve when those fires tore through. So some of them, you know, are quite understandably distressed by this and bringing back those memories of New Year's Eve when they were all huddled on the beach at the foreshore, really fearing those fires.
Yeah, Sam, it's hard to imagine. They talk about what they went through on Tuesday. It is now Saturday, and just looking at that picture that you were painting for us there, extremely frightening indeed. That is Sam CUCCHIARA in Malakuta in Victoria. We have some more information on that 7th emergency level blaze. It is this one, the Currawong fire. It is still listed on the website of the Rural Fire Service as a watch and act, but it has gone to emergency level. This is a fire that is burning near Nowra. It is a bushfire. It is currently out of control. Residents who are in that area should be seeking advice from the Rural Fire Service app about what they can do. So that is the state of play across New South Wales at the moment.
So yeah, you can see, you know, how bad it is. Some of these clips probably maybe a day or two old, but I did look today, and if anything, the situation has eased a little bit. Temperatures have fallen, and there has been a little bit of rain down south, which I think has helped with some of the fires. But obviously, there's still, when you have a fire so big, so hot, so large in size, man, you need a good downfall to even make an imprint. So, hey, it's Fancy. Are you still in the chat? Or is there anybody that wanted to come up and say hi? I was planning. I usually only do the Aussie rules version for an hour. I don't know how some people are doing live chats for 6-7 hours. I got to give them credit, man. I don't know if I could do that, honestly. I have done a 3.5 hour one that went quite quick, but that drained me, like being the main host and having to talk all the time. And yeah, I don't think I can do them for that long. I guess it helps if you have a lot of people that can. Can we have us a Barbie and a beer, Casper? Well, it's funny. I think there's a complete fire ban everywhere. Like, I mean, fucking everywhere. So, I'm pretty sure we're not even allowed to have Barbies at the moment. And anyway, I'm still getting the hang of StreamYard. So my main topic was the bushfires today, and I mean I can find some other live clips and stuff. And okay, Fancy, I just Skyped you the link. If you click on that, you can come in, say hi, give me an update. We can have a quick chat about the craziness in President Count's count country, which no one else I don't think knows about much. So 3 hours is max for me. Yeah, okay. Oh, 12 hours? You are shitting me. 12 hours. How could the guy stay awake? Oh, well, I guess if he'd started like when he first got up in the morning, it's only through to dinner time. Okay, here we go. Add to stream.
Hello.
How you going, brother?
Hey, what's up? It's very, very horrific stuff, man.
It's
watching.
It's scary because I don't think you can appreciate how powerful fire is. It's fucking devastating.
But are you guys okay? You far away from that, right?
I'm okay where I am at the moment, but if something happened 5 minutes down the road where there's a lot of bush, then I don't know, because what happens is fires that happen sort of like 5k away, there's just like embers that fly through the air and basically just can go anywhere and can land on someone's friggin' leafy roof, and then you got another fire going. It's just incredible how it can. How
Yeah,
it can...
but do you have like your hose ready? You know, like some
Yeah,
water
yeah,
stuff?
yeah.
You
I
probably need to
I
do
have a
that.
pool I could jump in, but
Yeah,
my
you
house
know
is
the thing.
my house is fully insured and all that sort of stuff. So I'm pretty. I feel okay in that way.
Yeah, but sometimes the insurance takes long to pay out, and you wait like a couple of
Yes.
months or half a
Longer.
year.
Yeah.
Is it? So that's why people really don't like it when there's such a big devastation. Like maybe if it's just a damaged roof or something, but
Yeah.
like
No, you're right.
a whole house, and then how many people? Like right now, like say there's like 10,000 people's houses being destroyed. Can
Yeah.
you imagine when those people are actually going to get paid out for that destruction? Because like that's like beyond
Well,
the
there's always a problem with insurance companies too. You know, it's always a hassle. You know, I've seen it here before where devastating storms have gone through a major city, like with hailstones. You know, really big hailstones, and just an absolute ton of cars will absolutely get smashed and damaged, and even to a point of written off. And I read the news quite regularly, and a lot of the time, you know, these people have a hard time getting the insurance companies to pay out. But that isn't it amazing?
Yeah.
They take your premiums. Like I spend so much a fortnight on my car, like, you know, for insurance. And I hate to think that if something happened, I would have a hard time getting paid out.
Yeah, I don't know why the people have to suffer with all of this shit. Seriously, it's amazing. I mean, I think maybe we should just take that money and like put it in a bank account, and then when something does happen, you know, you'd have the money to actually fix your car.
Yeah.
You might even save money like it.
So what are you up to today anyway? I went to bed last night and I saw that you did a new
SoundCloud.
you did a new SoundCloud. I listened to that. You sounded like, oh geez, you started to sound, you know, down.
No, I wasn't down. I just you know, I saw what do you say? I was just thinking about all the stuff. I did that SoundCloud after I saw Jeff's episode. So, or was it after? What
Yeah, it
time
was
was it
after.
when you told me about them?
Yeah, it was after.
Yeah. So I was in that room for like at least maybe 20 minutes, and I was just being quiet. I was watching what was going on. I was quite disturbed after a while because I didn't realize how drunk he was, and how Mud was encouraging all of those retarded stuff that he was doing. And like the questions started running through my mind about he phoned us privately, told us about his personal issue that he had concerning, you know, his stuff.
Yeah.
And I believed it seriously, so I got worried, right? So when I saw him there, I thought to myself, why, if he had that problem, then why is he doing that stuff on you now? Isn't that the dangerous things that he's doing? Isn't that going to cause more problems for him? So I was like, now, am I being played now? You know, like I must feel sorry for the guy and stuff like that. But when I was in there and I looked at that what he was doing on you now, I was like doubting, I don't know, like whether these guys are actually being real with us or it's all just one big act. Because he contacted me in the morning saying, hey, what's up, dude? So I said, like, yeah, nothing much. I'm just going to be chilling today. And I told him, I'll see you later. But then he didn't tell me he's going to go onto you now and contact Agent Mud. And then all of a sudden they went onto you now. And you told me they've been there for 4 hours. I mean, it's their thing, right? They can do whatever they want to. But if you phone me personally to tell me you have a serious problem, then I'm gonna feel sorry for you. But then it's like, you know, the story doesn't check out for me. And I don't know if I'm making sense.
Yeah, it does because you can only say so much. But I'm more concerned with his health. That's to me.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. So that's what I'm talking about. So yeah. So for a 70-year-old guy, is he 70 or what is he? What's his age?
No, he's 51.
Yeah, but even still, I mean, like if I had to drink, if we had to drink so much like that, I'm sure we'd be totally sick. I mean, like something would happen to us.
Yeah, see,
I
you
don't.
used to drink back in the days, but I see you've sort of cut down and you have a different attitude
Yeah, well,
towards it
yeah,
all.
because I got sick. I got sick. It not only affects your body, it affects you mentally. You start becoming more abusive, and you get very reckless. But like I was just thinking, like, wait a minute, like, um, if I'm gonna do this with these guys like on a regular basis, like every Friday night,
Uh,
and they've been doing this for 4 years, then sooner or later something's gonna happen to me. You know what I mean? I might get
well,
some.
when I listened to your SoundCloud though, I got a little bit concerned because you started to sort of talk about how you were before. Before this same thing happened, you got pissed off. What am I doing? With these guys, what am I doing? What am I doing hanging around here? What am I doing? So that's when I was listening and I was thinking, oh shit. You're starting to think a little bit like you used to think before. Maybe you're just taking it like too serious, and maybe we don't need to worry about what others are doing, if you know what I mean. Like, me,
Yeah,
I've always done my own thing.
yeah. So yeah, I was just talking about some of that stuff, but maybe it sounded like that at the time. But when I went to bed and then I just thought about it and I said, yeah, but you know, I think they've been doing that for long now, and like for me, if I'm just looking at it and not really, I shouldn't get too involved with all of that stuff because it's their life. So that's what I when I went to bed. But I didn't make that SoundCloud because of what I saw. It just reminded me of a lot of other people. So, and I have family members who was constantly drinking like that and ruining their lives, like youngsters. And then they're not working or anything, and they like creating a lot of problems for the family. So all that stuff reminded me of my own situation, that I have had back home. So I
Hmm.
just spoke about it, and then I was like, nah, I think I should just like step a little bit away from that stuff. Because like if you start doing, like, say for example, you start doing your YouTube stuff,
Hmm.
and then they're gonna come into your YouTube and they're gonna be taking off their clothes and doing all kinds of things, right? um, when they're smashed, and now they're again back with the frogs, and they're making up with each other, and then they doing all
Yeah,
these things.
that was a little bit disturbing to watch, actually.
Yeah, so like I'm just thinking, well, and what's the other day in Jeff's YouTube live, they came in there, right? They were listening. They connected to the Discord, so they were listening to the conversation, and it's like almost like they working there with like Jeff's circle of friends, and then they're gonna start manipulating and doing their dirty work how they usually do. So I'm just thinking that that's a crowd of people that I don't want to actually be associated with, especially if I'm going to start doing stuff on YouTube.
Yeah. Well, you do,
So so
yeah, I still think you just need to do your own thing, your own brand, your own thing, and then just like on the side, you might want to go and check them out every now and then, but don't make that your main thing.
no, yeah, no.
Does that
So
make
like
sense?
no, it makes sense because I don't know, I maybe even start a new channel with a totally different name and just do my thing there, and then maybe the fancy dog will just be like a thing, a channel that just sits there, and where I can just join other channels and chat and stuff like that. I was thinking about that because I don't want to be known as somebody who spends a lot of time with drunk people and people who abuse each other. I think it's a bit retarded, especially if the age group that we're looking at. Um, I don't
Mm,
think it's I don't think it's smart to do that.
I got I got a little bit annoyed for different reasons. I'm more of just a bit protective of Jeff, but unfortunately, Jeff likes to still do what he wants to do, and he's other people take advantage of him and stuff. And So I can't join people in that situation because I do have a little bit of an issue. My my real dad, which I haven't seen my real father since he's passed away since I was a child, but he was an alcoholic. And when my mum remarried, my stepdad was a little bit of a drinker. I wouldn't say alcoholic, but he drank too much, and then some of his family were the same. So I have a bit of a phobia, and I don't like hanging around drunk people. It just triggers something in me, and I just avoid those situations. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I have a similar situation where people drink in my family, and when they get drunk, they get like what Jeff does and Mud does. So it does remind me of some of my family members. They get abusive when they're drunk. They bring out personal problems, or they try to degrade you, like pick on you and tell you like stuff that you're doing, and so when they get like that, then it reminds me of my family members, some of them, and then I do get quite, how do you say, sensitive.
Yeah.
And then because like these guys, when they get drunk, they say anything,
Well,
and
yeah,
then,
it gets quite what's disturbing is that it starts to get very gay.
yeah. I don't know if you were there, but
Well, I went in a couple of times, and then I left, and then I went back, and then I left, and then I went back because I was annoyed. I just didn't want. It was no point trying to contact Jeff because he doesn't read his stuff. Like he replied today on something that I said yesterday. I mean, it's just not valid anymore. So you can't really get to him and that. And then he's like totally like smash, and he's like, and then he invited me up, and I can't have a conversation when people are like that. It's ridiculous. And plus, he's mixing in with the frogs. I left that community. I don't want to go back.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm just gonna fade out, man. I don't. If they're gonna go back to the frogs and stuff like that, I value my privacy. I don't want them to be trolling me. I had enough of that stuff. So,
Yeah.
I'm not avoiding anybody, but I don't want to be mixed up with that crowd of people, because I know what the Chad guy has been doing to a lot of people, and it's that thing just never ends. It just goes on, and they're constantly looking for victims that they can prey on.
Yeah. These other dudes might not have any idea what we're talking about, but
oh yeah, sorry, but we're talking about people talking about
another
trolls.
community that we used to be like in. It's all, believe it or not, guys, it's all connected back to Howard Stern. Everything goes back to Howard Stern, doesn't it? Because that's how it all started with the Lisa's show, and this is where the frogs came from, and all that sort of stuff. But
that's
back to alcoholics. My stepdad has two brothers and a sister, right? And every time they would get together, they would drink, and it was fine for a while. And then one of them would bring up some shit that happened friggin' 20 years ago. And then the next minute, they'd all be fighting and stuff. And it was just like, oh my God, like they just took the whole fun out of having a couple of beers. And it just like that's, and then it got to a point where my mother basically said, well, we're not having any get-togethers here anymore. She didn't want any problems at, birthday parties or anything like that. I mean, any excuse, right? These people would get together. Anyway, Mum and I just like stepped away from all of that. Like basically, we still keep in contact.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, you have to, man. Otherwise, it gets too toxic. I don't want that shit in my real life.
Yeah, no. I know exactly what you're talking, because my dad, he does it when he gets drunk, then he starts having arguments with people in the house. And then he wants to get violent, and then like a lot of times I have to like confront him. But now, fortunately for me, he's become very ill with diabetes, and he also had some other illnesses that affected him. So he's now slowed down. So, and he's on all the time on this medication that keeps him calm. So fortunately for me now, or for us, he doesn't have his violent tantrums anymore, you know. And so he's basically just all the time sitting in a chair, or I have to take him to the clinic to get his pills. So I don't have that problem anymore. But when Jeff and Mud get totally smashed and go on like that, then I get reminded of how things used to be for me. And I don't like to be reminded of that stuff, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, you keep saying your dad was a bit nasty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's all to do with alcohol. It's all to do with alcohol. When people drink too much and they start getting very aggressive. And I even like in the past when I used to drink on live stream, then I would actually end up saying stuff like what Mud does, you know. And so these things, it's like, I don't know if you noticed, but like I think that Jeff is trying to do what Mud is doing, and
Ah.
like he's being influenced by what Mud does. I don't know. You just watch, just carefully. Like you watch one of Mud's streams, then the next day Jeff will be doing something similar to what Mud did the night before, because the night before Mud went on a drunken rant and he was going on hard, right? Then the very next day, Jeff did the same thing, but even harder, taking off his shirt and his pants and doing all kinds of weird stuff on you now. So I don't know if Mud is the influence or that's creating Jeff to spiral out of control. That's what I
Yeah.
see.
But I think it's okay. Like you get away. I don't know how they get away with it on you now because Mud got banned a few times for doing very little, and Jeff probably crossed those lines, and I don't think he got banned. And the thing is, though, I was trying to help Jeff with his StreamYards and YouTube, and I said to him that you have to have another channel in case it gets a little bit crazy, and that way you can decide what you want to do, or if you get a strike or something like that on a channel that doesn't matter because you're just using it for people to chat,
Then what happened?
Yeah, but then he used his normal one. He used his normal
Yeah.
channel that he's got like nearly 300 subs or whatever. And I said to him, I said, well, at least at the end of the stream, you can make it private if you think that someone's going to get upset. Although, you did have cock and balls on the stream, remember? Were you there?
Yeah, no. Yeah, I only saw that afterwards because I left. But when I watched the replay, I saw it and I was like, oh my goodness. It's a good thing I didn't actually show my face on there. So
Yeah, I
that's
think
the thing, and that's the thing what I'm talking about. Like all these unsavory characters, like these people that come in. I don't think that's my cup of tea, man. Seriously, it's just not. It's not. It doesn't have style in it. There's no content in it. That's like it shouldn't even be on YouTube.
I still reckon you're onto something in regards to we're all from different places, and there's content there just showing around where not right where you live, but around your city.
Yeah,
or
no,
whatever.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do
Yeah, I
that.
think there's content there. I think that would be interesting.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that, but I might have to set up another channel for that because I did get a couple of strikes on my one, so I had to delete the videos and stuff like that. I actually don't want Jeff and Mud on my YouTube channel. To be honest, I don't want alcoholics on my channel or people that's abusive and good. No, I don't. No, I'll be honest. I don't want any of those guys on my channel. I know they want to come on when I'm going to do it, but I don't want those guys on there because they got a reputation.
I don't know if they're actively, wanting to come on. I mean, they're not here, so they haven't noticed me go live. So
well, because they're drunk, they're still sleeping. Those guys went on to the early hours of the morning. Right?
Correct. Yeah.
And they're probably, I mean, after they went on to another private stream somewhere else. I mean, I saw Jeff on other streams that are even more darker. When I used to be with Blab and I used to go around streaming, I saw the guy on those streams. And even Mud sent me a link to a weird stream site. So these guys go on a lot of live stream websites and platforms. That's not the only one that they on. I don't know if you know that.
No, I don't. What
Remember,
else?
remember the one. Remember that one? It was called Takashi or something like that.
Oh yeah, but no one uses that anymore.
Well, yeah, but they still use it. They still use it. Full Cam still uses it. There's another one. What is it called? Damn it! It's on. It's they got an app now as well. It's called something. It's something where there's a lot of people on there. Is it mini chat?
Oh, is that thing that Honest Frank uses or whatever? Tiny chat?
Tiny chat, tiny chat. They're still on there. They're still on there. You see them there. These guys, look, these guys live stream for hours nonstop. If they're not on one, if they're not here today, they're on another live stream somewhere else.
Maybe.
Mud admitted it when he was drunk. He said, "You don't know what I do when I'm not on here." That's what he said. He said he said this in his words. If I wanted to, I could disappear and go to other live stream chats that you wouldn't even know where I am. So I was like, oh, okay. I bet you didn't want to say that, but because you're drunk, that just slipped out of your mouth. So these guys, they stream on other places.
Yeah. Hey, you didn't. You only timed out that fella before. You didn't block anyone, did you?
No, I didn't do anything, man. I'm not. You made somebody else a mod, right? I'm not doing anything now.
No,
I'm talking to you.
Earlier. No, earlier.
What guy?
I think you timed out someone, which is fine because you didn't know who it was.
No, he said something nasty about you, and I didn't want that to appear.
Okay.
Some stuff that was unsavory.
Yeah, but he's cool, so I haven't gone back to the chat. But another person told me that he was blocked, and I can't.
No, I didn't do any. I didn't do anything. No, because after that, when people complained that I was being too strict, I told them, "Sorry, I didn't know who the guy was. I was just being cautious because I didn't want any, because you were busy in something serious, so I didn't want to take you off."
They're only mucking around. I know who they are.
Oh,
all right. So what do you got planned today on this lovely Sunday?
Yeah, I might do a stream later. I'm thinking of cleaning up my bicycle and going for a ride. So because the sun is shining now, it looks like a beautiful day.
So it's not. Isn't it winter there?
Yeah, it's winter, but like, look, I moved now to the city, so mostly the countryside would be freezing cold, and now in the city, because of all the concrete buildings and the factories and the pollution, you don't see a lot of cold snow or anything. It's just concrete. So, maybe that's why I get so depressed sometimes. But you don't really see the snow you just see the clouds. But today, it's blue skies. It's yeah. So I do need to go in a few minutes time. And
no, I'm gonna.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna do something later. I'm trying to experiment with the streaming thing, to put the music through. I've been testing it out on Periscope, and then I'm been testing it out on YouTube. But I've been putting that private. Then I delete the video. So maybe later on I might test it again. But you'll notice when I go live on Periscope and stuff like it. Yeah, but I'm around, man. I'm just.
Are you back into Periscopes? Are you, or are you going to go with how I've been doing this, like with StreamYards and YouTube, or you can just go live straight on YouTube? But
yeah. I'm just playing around for now.
If you don't want to have anybody on, you just go straight live from YouTube.
Oh, like that? Yeah. I was thinking of that. No, I'm just playing around first, seeing if my microphone is going to work properly. Because I'm not using my microphone, I'm just using the Bluetooth headset. Those small things you just plug into your ears.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just testing a few things out. I'm not in a hurry actually, Casper, to do these
But
things.
you got to be careful. Like when you say with your music, is that you making your own music?
No, I just found some like YouTube offers you royalty-free music. I don't know
Yes.
if you know that.
Yes.
Yeah, and then there's also Twitch has a Twitch FM. They offer you free music for the streamers. So there are some places where you can actually add music on,
Yeah. Okay.
play
Yeah.
their music, just for like fun. But yeah, I'm just gonna go slow. I've got some other stuff that I need to sort out. I don't know. Maybe for me the best option is just to go straight and live stream without any other nonsense. Just from my phone and directly go live on this YouTube and just do the thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Just do something. Yeah, do something. That's the whole trick, is just to do something original, eh?
Yeah. I'm so fucking tired and lazy now.
Yeah, me
I need to
too.
go and
Me
clean
too.
my
I
stuff.
had a friend over before who was just fixing up some stuff on my alarm system, and then he left, and then I thought, oh, I've got so much to do. I've still got another week off, so I've got plenty of time
Yeah.
to do stuff, but I've been so lazy, barely like sleeping until 9 or 10, and then just eating and lazing around and watching stuff on the internet. Like that's basically
Yeah.
what I'm doing almost every day.
No, some of the shops are still closed. The traffic is slow. It's empty, the city. People, like New Year's is big here, in Asia, and the shops close for like a few days, like 3 days. So as it's Sunday today, so there's still like, not a lot of things going on. That's why I'm so laid back and actually just want to go and take a walk in the park or go for a cycle, So
Yeah.
that's what I want to do.
All right, mate. Well, if I see you around later on, just send me a Skype message or something. If you
Yeah,
wanna do-
no, sure, for sure, man, for sure. Thanks for letting me on, and
Thanks,
interesting.
man.
I liked the. It was interesting to get that feedback from you about the fires. 'Cause we don't hear
Yeah.
a lot of news. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
interesting. But anyway, best of luck, bro. I hope you survive all these fire stuff
Yeah.
and your family is okay
thanks.
and stuff like that.
Yeah, I got to check on the extended family today. So
Yeah,
I gotta-
you better, man. Yeah, you better.
All right, mate.
Okay,
Thanks
man,
for
Casper.
coming on.
Thank you. Okay, guys. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks, Fancy, for coming on and saying hi. But yeah, my main stream was just about the bushfires, so I'll be finishing up. Thanks for anyone in the chat. Thanks for you RDA guys having fun there, I see. But till next time.
In Australia, we've got deadly animals aplenty. We've got funnel web spiders who'll murder you and your family. Under every second rock is a redback spider, and they'll kill you just because, I don't know, they're bored or whatever. We've got invisible brown snakes who'll bite you on the foot, and you'll be dead in 7 minutes. Just like that, kaput. We've got the world's deadliest creatures all over the place. We've got magpies who'll steal the eyeballs from your face. But at least we don't have AR-15s. We've got great white sharks who'll ascend from the deep and rip you in half with their razor-sharp teeth. We've got saltwater crocs who'll death roll you to death, and sea snakes who'll gladly snatch your last breath. We've got a blue-ringed octopus, no bigger than this, that just sits around in rock pools waiting to kill kids. And even the platypus, a cute beaver duck thing, has got a spur on its ankle that'll kill you in one sting. But at least we don't have AR-15s. Then at least they can't end up in the hands of psychopathic teens. We've got stonefish and stingrays and sea urchins and shit, and hectic fucking homicidal box jellyfish. And these jellyfish, they aren't even sentient beings. They don't even really do stuff or know about things. They just float around on the whim of the currents, being pointless, non-cognitive, murderous cunts. And if that weren't enough in terms of natural hazards, here in Australia, the sun causes cancer. But at least we don't have AR-15s. And at least they can't end up in the hands of suicidal teens. And at least we don't have an NRA who pay millions of dollars every day buying off politicians not to change old laws. spiders. We've got bull sharks, cone shells, saltwater crocodiles, honeybees, European wasps and blue-ringed octopies, death adders, blue bottles, red-back spiders, tiger sharks, tiger snakes and lizards that'll bite ya. We got sea snakes, taipans, cassowaries, copperheads, all the creatures of the land and sky and sea that want you dead. Toadfish, stonefish, irukandji jellyfish, bull ants, centipedes and ticks that cause paralysis. Fuck, we don't have AR-15s, and thank fuck they can't end up in the hands of psychopathic suicidal teens. And thank fuck we don't have an NRA who pay millions of dollars every day buying off politicians not to change some law. A law that was written 200 years ago, in a time when it took 3 minutes to reload a single round of ammunition. We knew nothing about depression, and you couldn't fire 45 rounds in 60 seconds. There wasn't even such a thing as automatic weapons. There weren't 31 mass shootings monthly. But what would I know, 'cause I'm from another country.
That's it, boys and girls. Peace out. Catch you later. Thanks for all the chatters.